This is the Fitzy and Whipper with Kate Ritchie podcast.
Season 3, the test. Amazon Prime, guys.
So excited about this.
One of the main stars. Oh, my God, and we love him to pieces in this country. Steve Smith. Have we got him?
Gotcha.
Hey.
There he is.
We have
How are
landed.
you, mate? You know what? Out of all the tests, we're excited about this one. I mean, you would be as well because, I mean, this was the dominant year. This is the World Test Championships. It's the Ashes, the T20, the World Cup. I mean, it's not bad to sit back and watch this one, Steve.
Yeah, it was plenty on, wasn't there? But yeah, I've never watched an episode of any of them. So
Why is that?
I lived it. So what's the point? I've lived it. So I'll let the viewers watch them.
Oh, but don't you want to see how they cut you together? You know, like with all those other shows, like the maths of the television industry. You're like, oh, but I'm not really like that. I don't know why they made me sound like that.
No, I'm not fast. I just get on with my business. So
Well, that's
yeah.
kind of what I was wondering, Steve. I thought, you know, because the cameras have access like never before, if they're in the locker rooms and something's caught on camera, does anyone take an editor aside or a producer and say, just about that conversation you may have heard, can we make sure that doesn't make the final edit?
I think a few players get a little look at what's going to come out, and if something needs to be taken out, but I think most of the time it's pretty good. It's nice to see all the raw emotion out there, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yep. Steve, have you noticed an uplift in support for cricket since the show? I mean, if you take F1, you know, and they did the last lap of what was it?
The Drive to Survive.
You know, that was an amazing. That was an amazing brand exercise for the sport. And those that weren't interested in F1 all of a sudden had an interest in what went on because they were shown more of what goes on. Have you noticed that in terms of the popularity of you being recognised and the game itself as a whole?
I'm not entirely sure. I think the first season, I remember I was walking down the street in Sydney, and a few people came up and said, "Oh, that test doco, that's really good. You know, we really enjoyed that." That was the initial season, but I kind of haven't heard much about it since. But it's obviously doing some good things. I suppose that's probably a question for someone else. But I think it's cool that we're able to give that kind of access into our inner sanctum and show people what we're doing and how we're going about our business.
Well, I personally think the first season of the Test is the greatest Australian sporting documentary ever made because it was you bouncing back from what happened, everything in your life, Steve, and that it was that Ashes series where you were so under the pump and the pressure that was on you, and like you said, the abuse that you were getting to come out and have an amazing Ashes series and take that out. It would have to be one of the highlights of your whole career.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that was an incredible Ashes series. I really enjoyed that. It was good fun, and it was nice to perform on that stage as well after coming back from a year out. So it was cool that I suppose it was all captured on camera, and you could sort of see what we went through, and that was pretty awesome.
Steve, a bit of an opportunity for you right now. Because you're on the show, we have a little gift for you. That gift is an invitation to our backyard cricket game, which is played at Kirribilli House with the Prime Minister each year. I mean, there's the first 11 drinks that happen anyway, but we would love you to get involved in our backyard cricket game this year at Kirribilli. November, we're talking.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever you've got on, cancel it and get involved.
Any tours on around that time,
Cancelled.
Steve? Do you know what's the schedule?
I reckon, the back end of November is probably the first test against India. So
Cancel.
Yeah, cancel. Come play at Kirribilli.
You usually go to Kirribilli House just before that test begins anyway, Steve, don't you, with the Prime Minister?
No, New Year's Day.
Oh, New Year's Day.
Just before the Sydney test. So
right,
gotcha.
That's the annual visit.
Right, well, come and warm up with us in November, mate. That'd be great. Consider you on Whipper's team, mate. Congratulations on your selection.
No, Steve, this is an amazing. It is the third season of the Test. If you ever get an opportunity, and for kids as well, these boys are such role models. And what they do, you can catch it now on Amazon Prime. We know how busy you are, Steve. So thank you very much for your time, mate. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, guys. Have a
Thanks,
good one.
great man.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Fitz in Whipper with Kate Ritchie is a Nova podcast. For more great shows like this, download the Nova player via the App Store or Google Play.
The Nova